Yes, we are back, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastically well. Brownie is coming. Do not worry. I just wanted to say hello to you and thank you for your continued support throughout this week. It's been a great week in terms of numbers on the channel, and we're here to talk about the team that I despise more than any other team. We hate from cradle to grave. We're brought up to hate this lot, and we are going to get into the thick of it right now. Brownie will be joining me, guys. As always, we are sponsored by these beautiful pieces of art. Cards Plug. The link is in the description with the code 1Leeds. You don't even have to put the code in. The link is there for you. Not 5, 10, 15. We got 20% off these cards. Great for gifts for your kids, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, whoever. Go and cop yourself one in the description below. As I say, I hope you're all doing fantastically well. I'm just going to read out some of your comments. Joe Smith says, evening, lads. He will be with me shortly. Do not worry. Scenes at Arsenal. Those two words, scenes in Arsenal, don't go together, Nicholas. So I don't agree with you, mate. Have you heard that Leeds are going to be getting rid of Cock? I don't think so. I think we've got a strong Cock forever. Evening, Connor and Brownie. Looking forward to a great podcast. He's taking his time here, to be fair. I did go live a little bit before, to be fair. It's nice we're not in the headlines anymore. And if you guys are just joining, we have done content on the channel already this week going over those absolute monstrosities over the Super League and everything they've been going through. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out the video I did yesterday talking about Alan Smith, some dodgy comments he was going on about Leeds getting into the Europa League and why that's a massive possibility now, and Fortress Ellen Road. But without no further ado, the Michael Dewberry to my Don Matteo, the Reaney to my Madeley, the Robinson to my Martin, the Smith to my Viduka, the Dick to my Dom, the Bill to my Ben. David Brown is back on 1Leeds. How are you doing, Brownie?
I'm good, mate. It's took about 10 days for my hair to get cut. Yeah, that's how long it took, mate. That's where I've been.
There you go. Come on, get your comparisons in now. So I don't know what it was before, but I want that same energy from everyone who's taking the mick out of our Barnets. You know, yeah. I want the same energy in the description below, please, guys. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, mate, really good. Really looking forward to Sunday now. It's been a bit of a weird week, hasn't it? The Liverpool game, it was a bit... During the game, I don't know how you felt, mate, but during the game, it just felt like, it didn't really have the feel like... Because at that moment, the Super League was going ahead. So the game was pretty much redundant. But yeah, Sunday, massive. Really, if there's a team that we really need to... We owe one to this season. Out of all the performances, it's that one. We really do owe one. And they've not had the best preparation with all the Ed Woodward stuff and the protests at the training ground.
Pound shop Jedwards. There we go.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Pound shot Jedwards. Like it. Yeah. Feel free to drop your profile picture in the comments and we'll get back to you.
None of you have ever got profile pictures. I always know that. It's always funny. Brownie, before we get into the tactical and all that waffle, the title of this video is "This is why we hate Manchester United." Now, in my household, my dad didn't buy a red Fiesta for 3 years. He spent $3,000 more on a white Fiesta to the detest of my mother. You wouldn't have Vodafone in the house. Sharp was banned from the house for years.
Vodafone. Even now, Vodafone.
I wasn't allowed to say. It was a weird thing when I was growing up in my house. I remember if I ever used to say the name, he would just be like, "Son," and he'd turn round to me, and I've never heard my dad call them Manchester United. It's always them. He's probably going to steam up the stairs now. He calls them them, and he won't call them scum because we've got Bath scum, and that's part of the household. Do you know what I mean? It's that deep.
Yeah, it is, and it's installed into all of us. I mean, my brother's exactly the same. I mean, just the colour red. It just even when England play in red, it curls his nose up. It's that bad. And like you say, I remember going back years now. He got an Armani top for his birthday, and it had a little bit of red on the badge. He told him to send it back. It was just a little minuscule bit of red. So some people take it to extremes, but it is that bad. Like when you're at school and you're PE, red bibs or blue bibs. I'd always want the blue bibs. I wouldn't want to be on the red team. And over the course of me playing football, I've played for a lot of teams that have worn red, like Notts Forest, Scarborough. Yeah. They've all worn red tops. And when we've had to like profile picture day, I've always worn the away kit. Forest was white, Hyde was yellow, Scarborough. I've always gone in the away kit for them picture. It's just that sort of thing, isn't it? And everybody has their own little quirks. And
do you know what this Brownie? This thing, Jonathan Brooke is absolutely nailed it. I cannot stand, and my old man's the same, when they refer to themselves as United. It does. I can't deal with it. I've heard today. I don't know about you. I don't know if this is a Leeds thing, but I've heard today Leeds fans calling them United. You don't call them. They don't have a God-given right to be United. No. They're not United.
It's weird for me. That it is really weird, and it's just a disrespect. I mean, there's Leeds, Newcastle, West Ham, yeah, Premiership to Oxford, Southend. There's so many different. It's just a disrespect but we've seen it this week from them, haven't they? They think they're above everything with what's gone on this week. So, do we expect any different from them? No. I mean, they're the only team that have not turned up for an FA Cup match because they want jolly on the holidays. It's just them all over, isn't it? They just feel they're above everything.
I've heard the excuses already. You know, if we get a result against them, maybe we're all focusing on the protests, and maybe we're all still intertwined with the Glazers and stuff. No, fellas, you're professional footballers. I understand what's gone on. I understand what's happened and all this sort of stuff. And we'll get your a little bit of a brief, if you can, Brownie, synopsis on exactly what's gone on this week. But, it's a football game, 11 versus 11. You're still vying for, you think you can still win the league. You're still going for that. We're not having any excuses coming into this game at all.
Definitely not. Are they worried? Probably not. A lot of them will probably look back to the game at Old Trafford. Are we the same team? Don't think we are. I think we're a lot more solid. I saw we've played Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool at Ellen Road, not got beat and conceded 2 goals in all them games, which is impressive, and it's phenomenal for a team that's just been promoted. I hope they do come into the game with that swagger of the 6-2 game, because I think they'll get a rude awakening if they come approaching it that way. You've seen the bits in the week from Bruno Fernandes talking like he's Rocky. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just them, isn't it? They just think they're above everything. They think they're above the law. And this week they've been put firmly on the backside, haven't they?
Yeah. Go on then. Give us you've not been on the channel since, and I'd like to get your thoughts, mate. If you can surmise your thoughts on exactly what's happened this past week.
On the Super, they need the book throwing at them for me. Yeah. And that's probably why the Liverpool game, people might feel like a bit of an exaggeration that the Liverpool result didn't really mean much when the game was going on. I wasn't really invested. I didn't even look. It was the first time for years the team news has come out, and I've not been there at 7 o'clock waiting for the team news. It just didn't. It was irrelevant for me, and that's what that Super League would have done. It would have killed football.
Yeah.
There would have been no point. Right from the top, right through to Scarb. What's the point of promotion and relegation? There'd have been nothing. It'd have meant nothing. And I mean, even now, Barcelona and Real Madrid are talking about we're still in the Super League. Right, great lads. What are you doing, playing each other every week?
Good luck.
And it's for me, like, there was talks of, but we'll get into the Champions League if they go. But we look back to the days when we were in the Champions League, and we look forward to the nights against AC Milan, Barcelona, Real Madrid. That's what you play for, you them big night occasions. You look back to even now when you're looking back to the 70s, 60s, 80s, 90s, everybody, you think of them big, massive games like the Bayern Munich match in the 1975. Everybody looks back to them iconic games. The AC Milan game, Dominic Matteo goal. It's an iconic moment, and they're the reasons you play football. And if they'd have gone off into the Super League, they'd have treated the Premier League like the Carabao Cup. They wouldn't have put the proper teams out. It'd have been a farce. So to me, it can't happen, and I'm glad people have stood up to it. To be fair, and if they get let away with it, I never want to see a club get docked points for administration ever again.
It's almost there. I mean, I'm staggered because you're getting a lot of them turning round and saying the owners are a disgrace. The owners are this, that, and the other. I mean, I heard a Liverpool. I won't talk about what channel it was, but I heard a Liverpool fan say it today, and he said, "Well, it's not fair on the fans." Well, mate, we've had 16 years of turmoil and ownership, mismanagement. That's not what the root of football is. Unfortunately,
they represent your club.
Well, that's it, and we always get imposed fines imposed on us, points deductions imposed on us from what our owners have done in history. That's football, and because this lot are that entitled and the top six, and they've never seen the repercussions of what their owners have done, they're all in millions and millions of pounds worth of debt. But because all they do every season, and the only bit of bad news they ever get is if they finish fifth instead of fourth, or if they finish second instead of first, they're that entitled that they don't think that it can apply to them, and it shouldn't affect the fans. Well, I'm sorry, mind my French, bollocks to that. Yeah. You find them and you send a message.
Look at non-league. You've got Halifax Town gone bust, about to come back of FC. That's due to the owners. That's punishing fans. They get massive gates. I played for Halifax. We were playing in Division 9 or whatever it was, and there was like 2,000 fans, but they're having to watch that level of football due to owners. Scarborough, they're in the Football League. Owners gone bust, and now we're now in the, you know what I mean? We're in a league below the conference. Rushden and Diamonds went into the oblivion due to fans. Bury, they're now in God knows what league. The 3 or 4 leagues below Scarp. Do you know what I mean? They were in the Football League, and that's due to the owners. So just because you've got a 60, 70,000 seater stadium and loads of money, you're no different to the rest. And that you shouldn't be any different to the rest.
Well, that's the question, isn't it, Brownie? Brownie, it seems like they are different. That's the problem. And
that'll then divide the split again. And Leeds got, I hate to bring it up, and it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, a £200,000 fine for not breaking any rules. We didn't break a rule. These 6 teams have been proven to actually break a rule. I think it was Brian Swanson, the Sky representative, who tweeted about the rule that they'd broken, where they've had to form another league that was to take part in another competition that wasn't the Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup, League Cup, Charity Shield, FIFA World Cup. You had to give written and have it approved by the other members of the league, which didn't happen. So they've broken a rule. So they have actually broken a rule. So if nothing happens to them, I mean, teams have been relegated off the back of points deductions.
To be fair, you even. I mean, we don't get along with them, of course we don't. But you even look at Sheffield Wednesday this year, points deduction. I know it was sort of halved, but at the same time, they broke a rule, and there you go. But the problem is, Brownie, what's happening is they're all absolutely cacking themselves because. Bloody hell. How many times did that happen? I bet that was like a sketch, wasn't it?
It was like reminded me of, like, do you know when you have their martial art films and they're like fighting away and
yeah.
It's like one of them.
It's like that. It's like that. I will kill you.
That's it. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Sheffield Wednesday, Wigan, they went down due to someone, an owner, coming in at the 11th hour and just putting them into administration from nowhere. They went down. They're now in League One. These teams have to be punished. Otherwise, what's to stop them doing it again? Yeah. And to finish off on this Super League thing, Arsenal haven't been in the Champions League for 5 years. They're not going to get it in this year. Tottenham aren't going to get it in this year. They haven't been in it this year. Man United have dipped out of it. They've come back over the last few years into it, but they're in the Europa League this year because they went out of the group stage. Yeah. Atletico Madrid have never won it. You've got Tottenham. I mean, how they got on it. I saw that the funniest thing I saw was I got sent a meme thing, and it said Tottenham being in Europe is like me walking into the Crucible and putting 50p on the table to play. How they got in it is on God. I mean, I sent that tweet out where there was 10, 11 teams that have won the English top flight since their last time. England have won the World Cup since they last won the league. And they're talking about.
Go on.
It's just their location. They were glorified Sunderland.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are.
But Jim they've got £1 billion worth of debt, and you see these clubs. I think it was Barcelona coming out saying we've been hit by the pandemic. What a load of rubbish! Have you seen Messi's contract?
Yeah, well, the reckon
it's just mismanagement. Right. All of them are in debt, and now they want 3.5 billion. It's just mismanagement. And sorry, lads, you got to take it. You got to take it. If nothing happens to them, then the 14 Premier League people are weak. I mean, I think it'll get taken out of the Premier League's hands. I think UEFA will hit them, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with Jim Ogden here. I think they should be punished, but they're way too powerful, and I think that's all going to be. It's all going to come down to lawsuits. And what I was saying before I muted myself was that City went to town with FIFA. They battered FIFA, and it was an embarrassment in terms of law and winning things over. And the transfer embargo didn't happen, and this is what they're all scared of, I think. And money does talk, and I don't think anything will happen to him, to be quite frank. But Brownie. Brownie, I'd like to think, I'd love to think it, but what annoys me is, what's a fine going to do? A fine is going to do absolutely nothing. Yeah. So unless it's a points deduction, I'm not interested.
Yeah, points deduction, but would it be this year? Would it be next? And I tell you what, if they all started next season on -10 or -15, that makes for an exciting season. That would be good. That would be good TV, because Norwich might stay up, and teams they can't put weakened teams out because they've got to scrap for every point.
Shall we make it a little bit more lighthearted and talk about the scum?
Yes, let's get into them. Let's get stuck in.
Let's get stuck into the scum. Right, guys, get your comments in the section below exactly what you think of Manchester United. I saw earlier on, I was just trying to get a take on their things. And I was watching one thing, and it said, why did they take the shoes off? I mean, you don't even see Liverpool and when we sing "We Hate Man U." And it really is that visceral with Manchester United. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, Brownie, and there's people who've just joined now. But us and them, the War of the Roses, it's an old school rivalry. Giggs, Scholes, Ferguson all came out and said it was venomous. It was a horrible derby. And I would love it if fans were in there, but I tell you what, Brownie, if we were to get a win this weekend, it would be absolutely massive. I mean, I know we've got nothing to. I guess we have potentially got Europe to play for, especially if the teams are dot points. But how incredible would it be if we beat them this weekend?
Yeah, it's the first fixture you look for on the fixture list when you're in the top flight. Man United at home as a Leeds fan. I mean, I've grown up hating him, but I have to say, Gary Neville's turned into someone I actually enjoy listening to, and even he said the two big games for them were Liverpool, Leeds. They were their two big games. Forget your City; they were irrelevant to him. It was Leeds and Liverpool, and it's been like that all along. And for this new generation of fans who've had to deal with 16 years in the wilderness, so to speak, it's great for them to finally have it. That was the taste, obviously, because the fans aren't in there. But it's some people's first experience of Leeds Man United in the league. I mean, my first ever game I went to was Leeds Man United. Thankfully, we won. Yeah, it was the Christmas Eve one. Thankfully, we won. And showing my age.
Was that 3-1?
McAllister, showing my age there. But it goes that far back. And then you look at, we've had some good results against them at home. You have the David Weatherall 1-0. You have the Harry Kewell 1-0. And it's just the atmosphere. I mean, there was one I remember where we got beat 4-3 but the atmosphere in the ground, I've never heard any noise like it. It is really something different. It's like a cauldron. And I know Leeds create a good atmosphere anyway, but we joke that Old Trafford is quiet, and it is, but their away following is good. Man United's away following is very good. So you add that into Ellen Road, and the atmosphere for a Leeds Man United match it's off the scales. So it's a real shame that there's no fans in there. We're safe now. We'll experience it next year. But as for in terms of points, I remember going into the Liverpool Man City Man United thinking, crikey, would Bielsa lose his first 3 games on the trot? We're 5 unbeaten. We're going into this game with some form behind us. And Man United, I don't know. For me,
do you want me to throw a stat to you?
Just before you throw it in, they're a team wherever I watch them, I think, God, they look shite.
Yeah,
and the second. And I can't work out how the second. I watched the Burnley game last weekend and I thought, my God, Burnley, until the last 5 minutes, the scoreline flattered them. Until the last 5 minutes, Burnley deserved something out of the game. And you just think,
yeah, I can't stand giving them compliments. It really makes my toes curl. But I think they need 4 more wins away from home, and they've broken the Arsenal invincible away record. I mean, on the road, I think they've lost 1 in 26. And listen, we know City had that when we went into the City game. Obviously, City still had an abundance of talent on the field, but City did rest, 7 players, and obviously they've got 2 first teams. But I think the difference is this weekend they're still looking, and they're still thinking they can catch City. Paul Pogba, he's going to be playing. He's moved out on the left. You're probably going to get McFred in the middle, who last time we made look like frigging Zinedine Zidane and Beckenbauer. So I think, I mean, like you said though, Brownie, there's a lot of positives to take from last time out. We're a different team. We've conceded the least amount of goals at home in the second half of the season in 2021. With the best at that. We've conceded the least amount of goals, which is it's a brilliant stat. We've shored up. We've got defenders back. I would say, Brownie, we listened to the Bielsa press conference today. Rafa is going to be out. All these people talking about him being a doubt. He's out. He's going to be out for this game. Rodrigo's still out. Forshaw's picked up another muscle injury, which is quite staggering. So they're the main bits of news, really. In terms of
the same team, aren't we? And just touching on Man United before I get stuck into the team news, I think we're playing them at a good time. It's 4 days before they play in a Europa League semi-final.
They've had a week's rest. They've had a week's rest, though.
I think I don't know.
You're right. You are right.
It's going to be a war. It's going to be a war. We've all watched the damn United when Derby were going into Europe in the 70s, and they played Leeds, and Leeds put 4 of them in hospital. Yeah. I mean, it's a different era, isn't it? But 4 days before they're playing in the Europa League semi-final against Roma, are the likes of Fernandes going to be on the pitch? Is Rashford going? Are they going to risk him? The team again. It's another game where the team selection's massive. We played Man City in between Dortmund, and I mean, Man City is an embarrassment of riches. But I think we both felt the team could have been a lot stronger. The one that we played, and I mean Liverpool. I mean, Klopp's baffled me all year, to be honest, with his team selections. He moans on about fixture congestions, and he plays his strongest team against Aston Villa under 13s. Yet when he's playing Midtjylland in the Champions League when they're qualified, he's got Mane, Salah, and the rest of the Harlem Globetrotters playing. And the other night he has Salah on the bench. So team selection seems to be a weird one when teams play Leeds. It really does. So that's going to be something that's imperative to how the game goes, I think.
The Scott Wotton derby, says Alex. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are talking about Poveda. We've got Edward speaking anything, but I mean, to be honest, Edward, and obviously we'll talk about that right now. For me, Poveda, I like Poveda. Poveda for me isn't a starter in the Premier League right yet. I don't think he's got the physicality. He still looks like a little boy. I think he needs to bulk out a little bit. I think the athleticism isn't there in his stature yet. And I think you can still, aside from what we saw, with sort of, he didn't do a great job with the fullbacks, Helder Costa against Liverpool, against Robertson. He didn't track back that well, but he did against Cancelo against Man City. I know it was a different game, but I personally think Costa has to start this game. I don't think he was good at all against Liverpool, and it was a real shame, really, because he was good against City, and you want him to build up that consistency, really. But I don't think he was that great. But he's up against the top side, some top fullbacks. But I think in this game you have to start with Costa. I think you look at who we're coming up against in this game. I mean, their fullbacks are a big problem. Luke Shaw's been unbelievable this year. Wan-Bissaka's not great going forward, but he's still a very, very good defender. I personally, for this one, Brownie, I would actually put Jack Harrison on the right-hand side to deal with Luke Shaw. I think when Luke Shaw was coming down our left in that first game, we were getting absolutely murdered down his side. He was beating the press consistently. He was bouncing men off him. And he was, we can all talk about McTominay in that game. Shaw, absolutely, we couldn't get near. Rafa was really struggling against him. And I think, for this game, I think you put Harrison on the right. Then you look at what goes on the left. It's going to have to be Costa, isn't it? That's my personal opinion. That's what I would do. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think McTominay's going to get the time and space he did in that first game. I mean, Phillips got dragged off at half time, and rightly so. He was nowhere near him. So I don't think we're going to see the same Phillips as we did at Old Trafford. They like to play Dan James against us purely for pace on the counter, which
I think that'll happen. I think
that'll happen again as well. Go with that again, yeah. Touching on Pavetta, I'm not putting him in the same bracket of my other mate, but I wasn't completely enhamoured by him in the Championship and what we've seen this year. What I will say is I thought he was unbelievable the other night when he came on. I thought he was really good when he came on the other night. So I don't think it's enough to start. No. I don't think Bielsa changes the team when it wins unless it needs. Unless Rafinha is fit, I think it's the same team.
Yeah, no, I agree. A lot of people asking about Joe Gelhardt. I don't think he's putting him in. But let's Brownie, let's talk about
Gelhardt. People might hammer me here, and it might be controversial.
Oh,
I want to see more from Bamford.
I thought you were going to start going at Gelhardt then.
No. For the last since Fulham, I know we've had some difficult games, but he's been a bit of a non-entity.
Yeah. I think he would admit that himself as well, Brownie, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's ran himself into the ground a little bit, to be honest. He has put some yardage in this year, and I just think he's been the first name on the team sheet along with Dallas for me this year, what he does for the team. But I just think he plays, obviously, because there's nobody else. But I think if there was another striker there, there'd be questions starting to ask, which sounds mental because he's scored, 14 Premier League goals. But the last few games, I mean, it was telling in the Man City game how he got brought off and Roberts stayed on. That's where Bielsa's thinking was, where Roberts was doing more than Bamford was to bring Bamford off. I just feel like when he was going through in that game against Liverpool, he just don't know. For someone who scored so many goals this season, his confidence just looks shot to bits. Yeah,
no, you bang on, mate. In terms of where Leeds are different.
Andy, I'm not saying leave Bamford out by all means. He starts 100%. I'm just saying he just seems to. Maybe it's because of his own high standards of what he's set and what we've been used to. I just feel like since the Fulham game, what have we had 4 games since then? He's just been quiet.
Yeah. Should we? Right. Okay. So last time we played them, it was the quickest brace in Premier League history. Leeds were out of sight in my mind in the first 3 minutes. Even though we created our chances, I thought we were so susceptible. I thought we were.
It was depressing, wasn't it?
It was a depressing watch because. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I know we're 4-0 down in 29 minutes and you're going to get people come back and say, oh, well, we had so many shots. We had 17 shots. Don't get me wrong. They were worried. Of course they were. But let's not also forget that Man United, I mean, I think they had 2 one-on-ones. I think they hit the bar as well. That game was that open. It could have been 10. And let's not forget as well, Paul Pogba didn't play in that game. So there has to be a difference in Leeds. And Brownie, what I will say is when you look at the midfield now, I know obviously he's not, his biggest, he's not flavour of the month with you. But what I do quite like now, obviously we've got Llorente in there. He's looking fantastic at the minute. I thought Strike was brilliant the other night. But the main part of it, and where we got absolutely picked apart against Man United was because in front of Calvin Phillips, it was just all out attack. And then when you look at it now, For the past 5 games, Brownie, 5 games we've been unbeaten. Intertwined in those 5 games, we've had Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool, and we've had Roberts and we've had Dallas. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying Roberts is economical with the ball. I know you're not a fan, but what I'm trying to say is off the ball, I think he's very diligent in following his men. He's very diligent in the press, and I think those two as a combination in the midfield give me a much better vibe about this game.
I mean, and
off the ball.
I'm just saying the Liverpool goal came from Roberts switching off, and Wijnaldum got the ball, passed it in, and then the long. If you actually break down the goal, Roberts switched off.
But in general, Brownie, if you look
defending from the front, Roberts is very good at seeing when Bamford goes one way, and Roberts just gone. If it's that, we're back here, Jack. You can name whatever prize you want if it's that. When Bamford goes, Robert's very clever at moving around and plugging the hole, and defending from the front. So the stats don't lie. He's done tremendous with 5 unbeaten, and he's played in every single game. So he's doing something right for sure. I just don't see the team changing.
No, but what I'm trying to say is, if you look at the comparative in that game, for example, Rodrigo and Click, in my book, even Click, and listen, I love Click, but I think Click needs someone very, very defensive next to him. Him and Rodrigo we have to call a spade a spade. They had no discipline in that game whatsoever. And no. Leeds were overawed by the occasion. Oh, we're back at Old Trafford. I've seen stuff today, like I think it was Bamford that you said Calvin was really, really up for it and almost over up for it. You know, if you do psychology, you can almost be over up for it. Your adrenaline can go past the point, and then you can hit a dump. And we hit that dump within 2 minutes. But what I'm trying to say is, I think when you look at the consistency, the lack of goals that have been conceded, and that have really, when you look at it, when you think about it, Brownie, there was a period this season where everything was coming through the middle, every chance, every goal.
We're definitely much more structured and disciplined. I feel that's why Alioski plays, because you can't take Dallas out of there for me now. No, Dallas has to play in the middle because he covers everywhere and he's so disciplined, and they just all complement each other really well. Roberts likes to get the ball and drive forward. Dallas is very disciplined, and Phillips just anchors and drops into the back three. Whereas, like you mentioned with Click, is he an attacking midfielder? Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he a bit of both? Does he get caught in 2 minds? Rodrigo is just out and out one way. Yeah. Whereas the other Dallas, Roberts and Phillips, they're a bit of everything. So I think they just really complement each other really well, which, I mean, like you said before, we've conceded the least amount of goals at home in 2021. And to say we're a week away from May, that's really good. And it kind of bats away that Leeds can't defend mentality, do you know what I mean? Where we've shown we can. And I feel we're a different type of Leeds now. I really do. The games are still end to end, but I feel like you're right. Think back to that Crystal Palace game at Selhurst Park. Yeah. It were like the Red Arrows steaming through the middle of us at will. Whereas now it doesn't happen as often as it did in the first part of the season. And is that Bielsa learning the Premier League? I mean, the results.
I think, listen, and I know we can talk about Leeds and the brilliance of it, but I think you just have, if you're playing the Bielsa way, you simply have to have better quality players. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people hate it because sentiment in football is beyond anything. You know, this is why he's still getting people saying, you know, and this is no disrespect to him, this is why he's still people I've seen online, you know, give Alioski a new 2-3 year deal. Sentiment in football is sometimes, in my opinion, overrides logic. You've got to look at this in a realistic way for me, and I just. There's combinations in this Leeds side that don't work. There's combinations in this Leeds side that do work, and you've got to play to our strengths right now.
Absolutely, mate. And I said Cooper starts, but with his red card, if we get a result tomorrow, I don't think Cooper comes back in. You can't. You're right. Sentiment. It goes so far, the sentiment, but then you got to think. It can only take you so far, sentiment.
It can.
Alioski, I love him to pieces. It'd absolutely break me if he goes to that team I won't name. I've mentioned that openly. He, me personally, if he goes there, he's done for me. I don't think he will. I really don't think he will go there. But for me, for Alioski, it depends what he wants. If he wants first team football week in, week out, he ain't going to be at Leeds next year. If he's happy to be a squad player like Brownie was when he signed his deal, and he's happy to be here and there, then he probably will get another year. But Alioski, I think he's good enough to go to somewhere in Europe and play week in, week out. And I think that's probably what he's anchoring for, to be honest, touching on that. But just mentioning Berardi, then I'd love for him to come on at the weekend and smash someone. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, if we're losing and the game's away, what I would have loved to for us to have done is in I guess in a classic Leeds way, just absolutely smash the shit out of them and cause them. Ruin the Roma game for them. I don't like inflicting
do they
pain,
really want to be playing? Will they win the league? No. Does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer think they come in the league? Absolutely not. They're 8 points behind. We're what? 5, 6 games. They're not winning the league. Do they need to risk Fernandes, Pogba, and that when they've got a Europe? At the end of the day, we can hate them all we want. They're about to play in the semi-final of a European Cup. Well, Tin Man Cup, whatever you want to call it, yeah. But it's still a cup in Europe. It'll still be a big achievement if they win it. If Leeds won it, we'd be absolutely buzzing our titties off. So it's a big competition to win.
Yeah,
I can't see them playing Fernandes in that 4 days before Roma. Honestly, I can't.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the likes of James and Cavani. I mean, they've got no injuries at this moment in time, which just seems to be a feature of Leeds playing most teams, to be honest with you, apart from Liverpool, of course. But yeah, mate, I think that they've sort of changed tack as well. They've gone to a 4-2-3-1, and like I said, they're putting Pogba on the left. And I think maybe if they do a 4-2-3-1, that could actually work in Leeds' favour because it might make the man market system a little bit more rigid.
Yeah, and I've said before when we played someone that it just makes, like you say, when they're not roaming around, it's a little bit more easier to mark, as daft as that might sound. And we've only got one to occupy up top. Cavani, yes, unbelievable European player, but is it the same Cavani of 3 or 4 years ago? No. Is he going to run us in behind constantly? Probably not. I don't know. Team selection.
We're saying this now.
We're saying this now, yeah, and I said it before the Man United game at Old Trafford, and after 25 minutes, I wanted to kick someone up the arse. But it won't be as bad as that game in December. It won't be as bad as that game in December. Do I think we can win? Yeah, I think we can.
It'd be an unbelievable. I mean, we were talking, weren't we, Brownie, 2 games ago, and we're thinking, if we can get anything, it might be a draw against Liverpool. If out of these 3 games, imagine if we could get 7 points. Jesus, what a 3 games that would be.
I mean, and we're stretching back to, we're unbeaten since the Fulham game. We've played Fulham, Sheffield United, which is a Yorkshire derby, Man City, Chelsea, was it? Liverpool. We've played some big games. And now we are. I've looked at the table yesterday, and I don't see us finishing any lower than 11th now. It's every week. It's another place where we're finishing higher and higher, and teams should pick up a points deduction. Do I care about the other teams if we fall into Europe because of points deductions? Absolutely not. Nobody gave a rat's ass when we were on minus 15 in League One. So I'll lap it up. If we finish in a Europa League spot, bring it on. And if we win, what are we? We're above. We were 5 points behind Tottenham. We win 2. I mean, we're not far. We'd be 4 points off Tottenham, having to play Tottenham.
Are you? I mean, we've not spoken about Rafinha yet. Obviously, he is. I think you saw gaps of it. I think he plays against Liverpool. We win the game. I don't know what you think, Brownie, but in terms of just his impact and the fact he really is a match winner, and he's probably got the purest strike in the Leeds squad, and he's probably, if we're being serious, the best finisher in the squad, in my personal opinion. If you give him a full season, he is the match winner. Is that a little bit of a concern for you? The fact that he's going to be out, and we had him last time, didn't we? When we went to Old Trafford, he was actually playing.
Yeah. If you'd have asked me at half time in that Liverpool game, I'd have said massive, massive problem, because I thought that first half in that Liverpool game, God, don't know what you thought, mate, or anybody else that's listening. I thought that first half in that Liverpool game, we were a joke. We were just not at it, nowhere near. That second half, though, we could have scored 3 or 4. What, Bamford hit the bar? Roberts has found Becker.
Had to score, didn't he? Harrison though had to score as well, I thought.
Yeah, so there's 3. I mean, we've scored.
Bamford's 1-on-1.
Do you know what I mean? And you're looking at games like Liverpool and you're thinking we could have scored 5. And that's without Rafinha, who's, I mean, he's our best player. Let's no mistake about it. He's our best player. He's our biggest asset. He will create chances. I thought we missed Rafinha's set pieces ability, because I thought the crossing in that Liverpool game, and sound weird because we scored from a set piece, but up until that point, the free kicks especially, I think he floats the free kicks in with such whip.
And it just whips unbelievable.
And I just think that's the sort of thing we miss. And would I want Rafinha in? Absolutely, I want Rafinha in the starting lineup. Would I give him right up until kickoff to say he's fit? Yeah. So, of course, it's a bigger doubt without him. But we've proven against Liverpool that we can create chances without him. So
we've just. I think
was possibly. I'm trying to be positive.
No, I don't think you are clutching at straws, because I think. Sorry, I don't think you are clutching at straws, because I think we've got to have that. We've got to have that belief. We've got to have that hope. But I also think, like you said, Brownie, we've created these chances against a top side without Rafinha, and I just think. I mean, what I would say in general is the defence has shored up, and that's brilliant, and we needed that. And I think Leeds have become a lot more pragmatic, 100%. But what I will say is, if you look at it hand in hand and the amount of goals we were scoring at the start, they have dried up. You know, they have. You look at the stats, Leeds' goals have dried up considerably. So the issue is, the other night, we don't want to fall into that championship mould where we're getting 5-6 chances. And we're not, and I think against Manchester United, I mean, you're looking at the first game, we got battered. You know, they scored 6 and they could have had 10, but, you know, we could have had 6, and we really missed. You look at Jack Harrison's massive chance where he missed that 1-on-1, and Bamford missed a very good one. He had one ruled out, didn't he? But overall, I think in these games, we get into these positions, a la Harrison, a la Roberts, against Manchester United, because it means so much to us. And in general, they've just got to maybe have a little bit more of a composed head, and don't think, let's just whack it as hard as we can, get into these scenarios, have a bit of composure, decision making. I mean,
that the Roberts one especially, I mean, Becker's legs are wide open. It's just no composure. And that's what I was touching on with Bamford. When you're saying the goals have dried up, is that where the confidence thing comes in for me? So goals have dried up, and that's where people's argument will be.
He's always been streaky, though, Brownie, hasn't he? He's always been streaky.
Yeah, and that's where people's argument will come in. We need another striker, because he does go through them troughs and peaks. But that's the life of being a striker. You're not going to score every chance, and if you did, you're playing at Barcelona and Real Madrid. You are going to miss chances. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I just saw a comment then, 4 from 9, would we have took that? Yeah, of course we would have done. Yeah. But we've got 4 from 6. So we're being greedy and we want 7. We want. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose the game. I don't want to lose the game. If you gave me a point now.
I can't stand them. I hate them so much.
If you offered me a point now, and I never take this at home, I always want to win at home, but if you offered me a point now, I would probably take it. And that's probably because Rafinha's not playing.
Of course you would, mate. Of course you're taking a point. I mean, we got drubbed 6-2 last time. It's their performance of the season. It's our worst moment.
I'm telling you now, there are so many bookmark tweets from that 6-2 game that if we do win, I need at least 3 hours on Twitter.
If you don't follow Brownie on Twitter, you are missing out. I tell you what, mate, we'll probably have to leave it at that, because we are chalking up 50 minutes. So what I'll do is, guys, get your score predictions in. I think Brownie's beating me about, what was it, 6-3 last time we did it?
6-3, yeah, nobody got the Man City game right, and Liverpool. I don't think we did it.
No, so get your scores in, guys. Me and Brownie are going to get ours in now. Open the treasured book. Oh, well, the last. I've got one here. Brownie, last one. Brownie Leeds 4, Sheffield United 0. Connor Leeds 2, Sheffield United 0. So for once, I actually got that quite close.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to let you go first, Connor. I'm going to let you go first so you can sell your soul.
Well, do you know what, mate? This is how bad it is because I can't even express how have we been out of the division for 16 years. I've barely seen us play them, and I can't express the hatred. I'm an old soul. It's like I've been and seen them in the 80s, and I've been down in the 70s, and I understand all the hatred. I've been involved, but I haven't. But I just hate them so much that I cannot predict them to win.
Is it the cockiness? Is it the swagger and the cockiness that they just think, and they've proved it this week amongst the other 5 English clubs? Is it just the way they represent themselves? It's just not likable.
No, they've got a real entitlement. I think it's the fact that me and you have been brought up to, and everybody here have been brought up to absolutely hate them. As I said at the start, from cradle to grave, you hate this lot. I can't. I remember when we went to them, we beat them 1-0. I don't know if you went to that game. When beating Beckford scored. I can't tell you. Like, we were on the buses on the way down, and in the ground, it was just like the hatred was. I mean, Man United at that point were champions. We were in the 3rd division. They didn't really care about us. But from the Leeds fans, mate, they were hanging out the bus.
Any Man United fan that says they don't care is lying. Every away game, Man United sing about Leeds. The hatred is still there, and we've been away for 16 years. So
and they bring some flags to Ellen Road, don't they, Brownie? Those disgusting flags we're going to be looking forward to seeing when they get back.
Yeah, and even the games turning up with buses, the buses always got trashed. Bricks through windows, both ways. It's just not a nice environment to be in, it's just that the hatred.
Put it this way, if we score against them first, and hopefully, we go on to win the game, but there is going to be it's just going to be hot air coming out my mouth. I don't even think I'm going to scream. It's just going to be air, hatred, air. But anyway, we've been waffling too much. Right. Okay. Brownie, it's me first, isn't it? Right. I'm going to go for a really entertaining and a brilliant 2-2.
Oh, mate, I've had my fingers up for ages with 2-2. I feel it big.
Do you want to agree? We can agree if you want.
I do think it will be a score draw.
A score draw? What, 0-0?
Yeah, score draw.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I was going to go 2-2, but you've gone that. We've beaten them at home 1-0 a fair few times in the Premier League.
Mate, that'd be my favourite result. That 1-0 would be a clean sheet against one of the best. We got to think, Brownie, we're going to be ending this away run if we do beat them. This away run has been going on. I think they've won. It's like 16 out of 18 games on the road.
It stretches back to them beating PSG away in the Champions League.
Ridiculous.
I tell you what, you've gone 2-2 and you're losing, so I'm not going to copy you.
Yeah,
I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds.
Oh, I think I've just climaxed.
And if it's 2-1 Leeds, we are doing the review Sunday night.
Of course we are. Everything goes out the window. I don't care. We're getting on here. I'm getting the shades out. We're coming on here. We're party time. Getting the poppers. Doing it all. Oh, mate. If we beat them, I'm going to ring so many people.
I went to these 3 games so pessimistic. And do you know what? I think that's just been the life of being a Leeds fan for this time. But do you know what? We're a bloody good team.
Yeah, we are.
We are a good team. And it's just being a Leeds fan, you expect the worst. But as a neutral, if you looked at Leeds, you'd think they're pretty decent, them. I mean, what? We're 10th in the Premier League. We've had no defenders for three
Well, someone. So I put that tweet out. I think I put a tweet out on. It was either One Leeds or Leeds Live, and I put a tweet out and I just said, Leeds have conceded 6 goals at home in 2021, the fewest of any team in the Premier League. And someone put back, it's as if we've had 3 international defenders out for the majority of the season. It got about 20. It got about 20 likes.
I mean, Virgil van Dijk had RIP Virgil ceremonies going on in Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? That's one defender.
Yeah.
We've done bloody well, and I just think a result against this lot would just top off an unbelievable season back in the Premier League. It really would. And honestly, went into these 3 games so pessimistic, and now I've come out the other end, and I don't think we'll lose.
You don't think? Oh, man, yeah, it's amazing.
Honestly, I don't think they'll beat us.
Well, I look at and this last thing I'll say on it, with this 4-2-3-1, I think structurally it's going to be much better for us. This man marking system, obviously they can get past that with Pogba, Rashford, Fernandes. They're world class players, but I just can't, like, you look at Llorente and Struijk and how brilliant they've been at the back for us. Alioski's been a lot better. Ayling's coming into his own again. Phillips has been unbelievable for me. And I just think there's something different, and we're just used to the league a bit better. And we're not as gung-ho. And you know what? Some people don't like that. But if you want Leeds to be a nice passing team who press really high up with this caliber of player, it's got us to this point, which is amazing. Yeah. But I think Bielsa also understands that there's an importance in having a solidified back line and not getting spanked by teams like Arsenal, Spurs, Man United, Chelsea. And I think Bielsa now understands that more than ever.
Yeah, and he's a genius. He's always learning. He's always developing. And we've seen it with the Leicester game, back home and away, completely different. Palace home and away, we were set up completely different. There's been so many games where you can tell he's learned from the first game.
We should have beaten West Ham. Yeah. What run they're on.
Yeah. And I mean, to finish off, the master's going to beat the PE teacher.
Yeah. There we go. It's a nice way to sign off. Guys, if you've enjoyed it, we've been going for 55 minutes. We'll be back with a review. If we win, if we lose, we'll see you next week. I can't, Brownie. I don't know if I can face it if we lose. I'm fickle. I can't handle it if we lose to him. But no, of course we will be back. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you have only recently tuned in, we've got merchandise, the Rafinha specials in the section below. Check it out as well. Cards Plug sponsoring the video. 20% off with the code ONELEADS. Great stuff for gifts for your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, whoever. Go get them. Genuinely, links in the description below. It's really good stuff. Brownie, thank you so much for joining me, mate.
No, it's been good. It's been good, and hopefully we get a nice review come Sunday.
Of course, mate. Have a lovely weekend, guys, and hopefully we'll see you Sunday night.